everybody. Welcome back to Where Are They Now? I'm Bree, the creator of Preventable, and you are here with Janelle. What's up,
Hello,
girl? What's
everybody.
up?
Hello, hello.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. Look at these curls, these
Been a
juicy,
long
luscious
time.
curls.
It grew back.
It just reminds me of like you and your sister. I have a piece of you like laughing from the documentary where she was like she got the curls and then you're like,
Oh,
well, you got skin. Like
yes. Yeah, that's funny that we always switch that apart. I'm like, oh, how did you look at with the world perfect skin? And she's like, you got the hair. So, you know, each each to their own.
How is she doing, by the
She's
way?
great, actually. She recently had a beautiful little boy. Yes, she's
What?
got a little boy. So I'm a new auntie to a lovely little adorable blue-eyed baby boy, and so she's doing great. She's planning a number two, so I know that there's going to be another baby for auntie to spoil soon.
For Auntie Janelle.
Yeah.
Well, that's so awesome. Are you so when I visited you for the documentary, we were in Kelowna,
Yes, we were in
and
Kelowna.
that's where your sister is.
My sister had a place there but was commuting, so she'd work in a northern Alberta town but was then spending the majority of her days off in the city of Kelowna. So I was spending a lot of time there as well. But
Gotcha.
since I've actually moved um, a couple hours east of Kelowna, or sorry, west of Kelowna, back into a house that I had bought here and rented out while I was sick. So I have kind of stationed myself full time in BC, so in a town called Kamloops, and it's been really nice settling down again. I was doing the Mexico back and forth for a few years, but because of COVID and just because of family ties and stuff like that, I was trying to do my best to stay put in Canada. So it's been it's taken some getting used to because the winter in Canada is obviously a lot harder on the body. So
Heck
um,
yeah.
yeah, it's been a big change, but over the last 4 years, my body has strengthened, my skin has strengthened, so I'm able to kind of combat it a bit more than I used to be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where like so you're not going back and forth between Mexico, but are you still doing art? Like what's up with that?
So my art, I've kind of had it on a little bit of a back burner just because I have actually become so ridiculously obsessed with gardening and yard work. And I don't know, I swear I'm becoming this pioneer woman because I've got a chicken coop built on the go. I'm renovating. I just bought a wood chipper because apparently that's what girls buy with their money, wood chippers. So
Okay.
I've kind of turned into a little bit of a homesteader and I'm loving it. So I'm able to put my hands to work and I'm able to grow like healthy food and be outside in the sunshine all the time. Um, and it's where I'm putting a lot of my creative side.
And,
So it's kind of an extension of my art is my gardening and all that stuff.
and you
But
can do that during the winter time?
not quite, but right, like there's a lot of things that you kind of have to prepare in the spring and then fall. There's a big, there's preparation. So each season here, we've got something that we got to take care of. So, so that's been cool. My
Oh my
art, I
gosh.
have been able to paint, and I have over the last 4 years, I pumped and sold like a few pieces, but my brain has been literally firing in so many different directions. I want to try and do everything. I was kind of held down for so long, and
Now you're
now I want
exploding.
to do it all. Yeah, basically.
Oh my gosh. Is that what you're doing for work? Are you working right now?
I was actually working as a support worker for youth who are at risk. So um, I was spending a lot of time trying to give back to people. But in the last 6 months, I actually decided to stop working and try and focus a little bit of my energy into my household. Because I've got this lovely new man, and him and I have got lots of fun goals that we've been doing together.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, so I've kind of decided that um, it's time to focus on creating this lovely home for myself and this partner and his beautiful son. So that's kind of where I'm at these
Oh my
days.
gosh. How'd you
Yeah.
guys meet?
Well,
Oh
we had thought we had met previously, but I thought he was someone different.
Oh my gosh.
So he shows up to take me for a date and it's someone different. And I'm like, "What? Who is this guy? What?" Because I had a number and was texting a Nick. But lo and behold, it's a whole different guy.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So this new guy, I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll go on a date with you." And I did, and he blew me out of the water with how much we had in common and how cool he was. And
What?
yeah, it was kind of like an accidental meet and greet. And
Like a
then
meet
yeah,
cute, a very awesome meet cute.
it was cool. And so him and I, we do a lot of music together and renovations and fishing. We're kind of like this hands-on industrious little couple
This
that
little Adam and Eve or something going on over
sounds
here.
like it
Oh
sometimes.
my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I mean I mean, both of us had our big hiccups with
Yeah.
our journey.
Mm.
Um, is there any kind of like emotional still like connection you have with that, or has it helped you in this new relationship at all?
I think for a few years after, because I did go through that loss of my partner when I was going through TSW. For a few years after, it really stuck on me, and I kind of had the sense of I was abandoned, and kind of had a sense of I was cast off because of my condition. So it did wear on me for a few years. But as I gained more independence and gained more health, um, I think my perception of the whole thing changed, and I realized that some things happen at the worst times, and you take it internally, and you think it's all about you. But sometimes, it's about more than just you. It's about two people. It's about two people trying to live a life, and sometimes the life is just not working anymore. So at the time, when you are already losing everything, when you're losing your health, when you're losing your job, when you're losing your life due to an illness,
Yeah.
that is so heavy as it is, that when you put your loss of a partner right on top, obviously you take it harder. So now that I'm healthier, I can look back, and if I could give anybody, some advice if they're going through loss of a partner,
Hmm.
is that trust the process, because we don't lose something that belongs to us. If something is meant to be, it will always come back to you. So I truly believe that what happened to me, the relationship that ended in my life at that time, that was meant to be. Because I think him and I, we loved each other, we cared about each other as people, but we were done growing with each other at that point. And I sometimes think about it and say, I was shedding a lot of skin at that time. I was shedding a lot of the outside at that time, but I didn't realize I was shedding a lot of old ideas and old concepts as well. And part of that was this change in relationship. I was with a man that our lives probably weren't meant to keep going together. Or so having that change then was so painful. But looking back, that's what had to happen for me to help heal as well, help heal as an individual. So
No, I
yeah,
like
it was
that.
tough. Pardon?
I like that. Like the shedding,
Yeah. Yeah.
the things that are meant for you will be, and like the growth and you know the stagnance of maybe that wasn't meant to be. And so
No.
I love that.
Yeah, and I don't look at first it was so hard to take, and it was so, internal. I was like, "Oh, what's wrong with me, 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 me." But looking back, I realized that in a sense, my partner at the time maybe didn't know that in reality we needed to be apart for me to truly heal. And I didn't know that either. But looking back, absolutely I did. I needed to heal because I needed to heal on my own
Yeah.
because I wasn't with the right person, and I couldn't have healed that
For
way.
that journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So looking back now, I can feel that way. I'm past the whole heartache and heartbreak. And my ex-partner and I, we have a totally fine, civil, friendly relationship. And we always look back and say, wow, we went through a lot. Wow, we learned a lot. Wow, times were hard, but wow,
Yeah,
we're still friends, Wow, we made it. We didn't make it as a couple, but we made it as two people who can say we care about each other. So
that's so
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, like that is a gift that I hang on to for sure.
I love it. Um, well, besides the emotional journey, have you had any flares since Preventable?
So I think flares per se, maybe not necessarily big crazy flares. However, I have had to deal with a lot of issues with my hands. So my hands
Yeah,
were one of the things that took the longest to heal and truly never fully healed. I have a lot of nerve pain in my hands, a lot of swelling, a lot of splitting, a lot of tiny, pinhole blisters that keep coming out. And they're very sensitive to irritants and stuff like that. A lot of us in this whole skin issue,
yes.
we know what that means. We know that the irritation and all that. So I haven't had any big crazy, reddening flares, swelling, and the typical sweats and oozing. Not anything like that per se.
Yeah.
But my hands have been to the point where they've been completely wrapped.
I mean, were
But
they so like before TSW, you had hand issues, right?
a little bit, very, very little bit, but it wasn't nothing like this.
Got you. And I remember you had talked about having the sage
Sage,
allergy.
yeah.
Um, would that come into play at all, like for this
Yes
or
and no. So in the springtime here when the sage is pollinating and it's kind of blooming and all that stuff, yes, I definitely notice that my skin is more irritable. My asthma kind of acts up, my eyes and nose, everything's itchy. But it's it's at a point where I recognize that I had felt this years and years and years ago. And that's when my doctor had started me on these, steroid creams and all that.
mhm,
And I think to myself, this is peanuts what I'm feeling right now. It's really nothing that I need something for.
got you.
So I can handle it because I know that I've dealt with a hell of a lot worse when it comes to
Yeah.
steroid withdrawal. So I think that's kind of part of my life is comparing now. Like, oh, this hurts, but does it hurt really that bad? And I think back to when, my skin was gone and I was like, nah, this is okay. I don't really need to do anything about it. So we all seem to, I don't know, adapt and manage our surroundings. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's been
Well, I was gonna
been a
say,
one.
because you're doing all like the homesteading, does that affect your hands? Like, do you think that could be a thing, or like, do you just push on through?
Yeah, it is definitely affecting my hands. I'm a very hands-on person and I kind of work quickly. So sometimes I ignore my body if it's trying to tell me to slow down. So
Guilty.
guilty as charged. Do not do what Janelle does.
Guilty.
Don't just ram through projects when you need to kind of take your time. But I think that's part of my personality now is that I was held back so that when I have the energy to do something, I kind of explode out the gates and I'm like, oh, I want to do this all so fast right now. And I do end up paying for it.
Got you.
So, yeah. So it's kind of that balance that you kind of have to learn to slow down a little bit. And I think in my age now, um, I'm really, really having to learn that to take your time and
Well,
not rush anything.
I was gonna say, talking about age. Um, when did you first start TSW? When do you feel like all that the worst of it was over?
The worst of it, so my worst year was 2014, and I believe I was 30, 29 or 30, 29 or 30, one of those two. Um, and then it was kind of waning off the end of 2015. And the end of 2015 is when I moved to Mexico for that winter.
Got you.
Yeah, so all of the like real TSW flares, the stuff that really makes me think of withdrawal and not just, dermatitis, the last of that was probably in 2015.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that was some crazy pictures, man.
that was
Like burn victim.
yeah. It's kind of funny you mentioned those pictures. Nick, my current partner, he actually knew who I was through that. That's how he knew how I was, but
Wow.
couldn't put it together. And he's like, "I know you from somewhere." I'm like, "I know you from somewhere." And he's like, "Oh my God, you're that girl." I'm like, "Oh God, not again." I'm
That's
like, "That
crazy.
girl." Yeah. Yeah. So it was circulated so much around here that that's how my face became kind of known. So in a weird way, I was like, "Whoa, you knew me when I was the sickest and I didn't even know you." And yeah.
And how did like has he ever talked about that? Like what you've been through?
Yes, yeah, he's got so much like he's got questions obviously, and he's got some skin problems himself. So he kind of has more understanding about skin than
Like,
the partner that I had before.
mhm.
Um yeah, so he's super supportive about it. He's actually the one who's harder on me about slowing down. He's always like, "Stop, stop, like your hand." I'm like, "I'll be fine." He's like, "No." So I've got the support.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
My gosh, you guys have like the cutest meet cute. He like
Thanks.
knew who you were
I
from
thought it was someone else.
this crazy TSW. That's so insane.
Yeah, yeah. And he had actually bought a partner of his um years before had actually bought a piece of art for me. So like there's all these weird connections. We're like, "What?"
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so he had a painting in his living room for years,
That
painted
was
by me.
yours.
Yeah,
That's what it was. There was something about the painting and he was
I
like
know.
connected. He was
It brought
in.
us together.
Oh my gosh, I feel like someone could go write some like rom-com about you guys. Like seriously, that just sounds like the basis of a rom-com.
I like it. I
I
dig
do.
it.
I like it. I like that.
We would act in that together too. He's hilarious. We have a good time. We're just a bunch of bozos over here.
I like it. That's what I want to hear. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Life's good.
Love in Canada.
Love in
Awesome.
Canada. Absolutely.
And I want to go back at some point. I was actually talking to my partner. We were sitting and waiting outside somewhere, and we were just like asking each other questions. And I had said, like, if there was somewhere I could live, I was like, I think I want to spend the summers in Kelowna, Canada. Because
I
I will never get over like the bike ride and the zip lining and like being outside in nature. And it was beautiful. It's so
That was
beautiful,
such a
guys.
great time, wasn't it?
It was. Feeding that chipmunk, I know like that's like sounds so
I
stupid, but
remember that day so much.
I loved it. I have a picture of like
I know.
me with it. Like
Yeah.
from
You were
there.
bent down. The little guy was right up to you.
Oh my gosh. I felt like Snow White. Like that was it. Like I could die happy
I'm so
there.
glad you had a great time.
I'm so glad I could do like you are the reason I got to experience that. Like that was so fun. Like a stupid Spider-Man and Batman costumes that we put on and ran
Yeah.
around like just being dumb and like
Really cool.
children,
I
you
know.
know? That was
Yeah.
the best and I needed that, especially
So
in
did I.
my journey of I was halfway through shooting the documentary and I was like loopy, like tired, exhausted, like
And
ready
your body
to,
was you were flaring and you were
yeah, I was uncomfortable. Like that was just after like India and Japan and then going to California, which was awesome. But then like there was an extra thing added into California that I didn't foresee. And so I was just doing one thing after the other. And then when I got to yours, like we wham bam, get the interview out of the way, the serious part of it, you know, wipe off the tears, regroup, and just have a blast. And I like had a blast with you.
so did
Like
I. I genuinely did. Like
that
so
was
many cool things. The
such
kangaroos,
fun.
like
I know.
I know.
It was
Genuinely.
great.
Yeah,
Loved
gotta
it.
come back, girl.
I know. I'm gonna buy a little cabin there or something.
But
All right. Well, I know you already gave like advice about like a partnership. Is there any advice in general that you may want to give to like someone who's going through TSW?
Yeah, I think um as negative as this is, as horrible as this whole taxing condition is, it really tears your life apart. If you can, if you can take just the tiniest little growth or lesson or goodness out of it, it makes the world a difference. If you continuously look at your position as negative, if you continuously look at it as the bottom of the barrel and the worst of the worst, you're going to feel that way. You're definitely going to feel that way. However, if you look at it as this is my struggle that I'm going to get through and I'm going to be stronger. This is my training. This is my, this is something that is put in my path to strengthen me. You gain a lot of power and you gain a lot of momentum to get through it. So it's all in perspective. And I know some days are hard. Trust me. I've had those days in the bathtub where literally everything's flaking off and gooing and oozing and your hair's falling out in clumps and you look like a mashed potato. You do. But on the days that you can find a little bit of hope, grab onto it and hang on to it. Because honestly, it is your inner fire that gets you through this, and your support system. So do not consider yourself at the bottom of the barrel. Consider yourself going through something that is going to give you a gift of strength. You're just gaining it. You're in the midst of gaining something amazing, and it's
Love
painful,
that.
but it's worth it.
Perspective.
Yes, perspective is everything.
I like it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much,
You're
Janelle.
so welcome. It's been, like I'm so happy to sit you and talk to you, and I'm getting all these chills and old feelings again.
No, this is awesome. I'm so glad. Like I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I was able to do this
Me too.
and to have people like you like welcome me with open arms. Like some random girls just gonna go around telling your story. Um
You are not no random girl. You have something. So thank you for allowing me to be part of it. It was a huge gift for me.
no, it's just I everybody that was a part of it, I felt like I could trust you. Like there were so many people going through what we're going through and
Yeah.
I found my gems. I found my people that I knew would be genuine and tell their story and have something purposeful to say and gift others with. And all of you gifted me with something because a girl was cray cray thinking she's gonna go around this world by herself filming this. Um
But you did it.
so yeah, man. And
Did it.
it was because of people like you. So I'm so grateful that even getting to do this, like I know, like who
No.
gets to do this though? And like what you said, like you find the thing out of this. Like I
Yeah,
could
you do.
still be sitting here like whining and crying every single day and not wanting to get up out of bed or like being a burden on my mom or something, still trying to like stay at the house. But you get up and you find the strength and you find that
Mhm.
purpose and you
Yep.
keep going and being able to do this was such a grand purpose,
Absolutely.
so I'm so grateful that you were part of it.
Me too. Me too. And I always there's one thing that I whenever I tell my story, um, people are like, "Oh, it's the worst thing." I'm like, "Absolutely, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me." But in a big way, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Absolutely. It sent me off in a new direction as an individual, and it teaches you a lot of stuff that you may not learn in other ways. So the
Mm,
struggle was a path to a better place for me for sure.
I love it. And you got a new boo. I love
Yay!
it.
And he builds beautiful stuff. So I'm quite happy. I'm gonna get a new chicken coop soon. Very happy.
I like it. All part of this journey, this crazy
That's
journey.
right. Mm-hmm.
All right, girl. Well, thank you so much.
So
And it's been a pleasure. It's been
yeah,
a pleasure.
it has been. I'm happy to have chatted to you today.
And I will hopefully see you in Kelowna at some point. So
Yes. Yes. We'll go for another bike ride and visit those chipmunks again.
I better, like, they better be waiting for me.
They will be. They'll be there.
All right, girl. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, girl.